Welcome back to the Garden State Growth Show. Today we have a very special guest, my favorite realtor out of Hopewell, New Jersey, Janet Lorraine. Janet, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jen Michael. Thanks for having me here.
Sure, of
Always
course.
great to see
I'm
you.
glad you finally found the building. I know
Yeah.
it's a little difficult
Yeah.
with the way they set up the signs here. Janet, how did we end up here today? How did you even end up as a realtor?
Well, my thanks to my husband, actually.
What?
I was
He said, go get your license?
yes, pretty much. I spent a good part of my career in financial services,
Okay.
and I was working in the city of Manhattan for Merrill Lynch, and my husband left the financial services business to invest in real estate.
Oh, okay.
And during the course of us dating and as we were thinking about getting married, he suggested, you should get your realtor license.
How long ago is this?
So this is going back a long time. This is 2008.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And during that time, we had the market crash. And
He bought before the market crashed or after?
he
Or during?
both actually.
Okay.
He was buying a lot before then, and then after the crash too. And since I had a financial analysis background, he's like, let's start investing in properties.
Yeah.
Let's research the markets. Let's see what makes sense for us. And that was my introduction to real estate.
So he was buying investment properties, and then you got your license, and so you started helping him acquire
Yes.
those.
Right.
Wow. And how many properties do you guys have?
We have 15 properties.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
And most of them paid for, thank God.
Awesome. And what market are you guys in?
So we're in Mercer County,
Okay.
and we're in the Hamilton area, and then we're also in Trenton. We did a little bit in Ewing at one point, but then we divested out of Ewing and then concentrated mostly in Hamilton and Trenton.
Gotcha. And are these single family homes, multifamily?
Both. So we
Apartments?
have single family homes, we have multifamily homes, and we have an apartment building too.
And who's doing the property management?
My husband.
Okay.
I do some of it. Now I'm doing less and less of it because I'm focusing more on serving clients.
Yeah.
But the two of us we're business partners, and we were working together with managing.
And is he doing that full time, or does he still have another job as well?
No, he's doing that full time.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I would say property managing 15. It's definitely like a
Right. I think it's
full-time
over
job.
40 units or plus. I can't remember how many units
Yeah,
we
that's
have.
awesome.
Yeah.
And you guys are still buying
Yes.
whenever that
we
opportunity
are.
comes up?
Mhm.
And are a lot of those off market or on the market?
Most of them are off market properties.
How are you getting those?
Just word of mouth.
You allowed to tell us?
Well, sometimes when you're, and when a few years back, we actually bought 3 properties just through word of mouth because I was standing,
Yeah.
by the property, and then some of the other owners came by and they started to talk about, oh, I'm tired of dealing with this.
Mm-hmm.
And then we just approached them, and then
Right.
next thing you know, we're purchasing them.
I've noticed that investors like selling to other investors.
They do, yeah.
Because it's just about business. It's the numbers, it's the property, they know the rents, and
Right.
it's just a simpler transaction.
Yeah, it's easier, it's less stress, and then you're just, calling your attorney. The
Yeah.
attorney is pretty much doing everything, and you're moving forward.
Especially if there's tenants.
Yes.
You could really only sell. A lot of people, retail buyers don't understand is only investors can really buy properties that have tenants because they're not occupying it.
Right,
In that case, you need 25, 30% down, right?
right. But some of our purchases have been in just cash.
Okay.
And then some of our purchases recently we started to get more creative, and we're purchasing them out of retirement accounts.
Oh, okay.
And then we're
Gotcha.
setting up designated accounts just for a specific property.
I don't know if you're comfortable talking about this, but how are you guys structuring your entities? Is it like a holding group and all different LLCs for every property, or is it one LLC for everything?
No, one LLC will be very risky,
Yeah,
and you'll open up yourself to a lot of potential
right. Because
liability.
one bad
Right.
property could bring down
Yeah.
the rest.
So what we have set up is separate LLCs,
Gotcha.
pretty much for every property.
And who'd you do that through? Who are you doing that through? Is you doing that through your accountant, your CPA, or your attorney?
Well, my husband does most of it himself,
Okay,
and then we work with our accountant.
got it.
hmm
So someone who's interested in getting into real estate investing, what would you recommend for them as far as who to have on their team?
It's going to be very important for you to have a reliable and trusted attorney
Okay.
to work with. and an attorney that's going to move very quickly, because sometimes the deals present themselves and there's not that much time to think them through too much,
Right.
and you want a quick turnaround to get it binding. You definitely need a very good accountant to
Mm-hmm.
work with you, and you need to have the stomach for it too. I mean,
Yeah.
yourself, you have to be disciplined enough to know that it's not all going to be perfect.
Right.
And sometimes you're going to have months where you're eating the loss and you're
Mm-hmm.
taking it. But the key is to really vet out the tenant and
Mm-hmm.
understand who you're renting to,
Right.
in order for you to be successful. And understanding the rules and the guidelines within the town that you're working with is so essential
Got it.
to understand that, because then you understand how to navigate the process.
Don't forget real estate agent.
Yeah, and real estate agent, but even as a realtor, what I do mostly with our investment properties
Yeah.
is I'll do the research for my husband, but mostly if we're buying off market, I'm not
Yeah.
even involved. He is,
Okay.
and we do use realtors sometimes, and then I'll represent us on that side.
Gotcha. Just to make a cleaner, faster deal,
Yes,
possibly.
and then everything is disclosed with the attorney in the
Yeah.
contract to say that one of us is a licensed agent.
Are you guys renovating before renting, or mostly as is stuff?
Most of the time, it's a renovation.
Okay.
Yeah. So our last purchase was 2 units, and both units were fully renovated before we rented them.
So you're buying them renovated, or you're doing the
We're
renovation?
doing the
Okay.
renovation.
So you have like a contractor team, or you
Yes.
guys are doing it yourself?
Sometimes my husband does some of the work,
Mm-hmm.
but usually we outsource.
Yeah.
Yeah, we outsource depending on what's going on, what needs to be done, and then we're pricing it out and then just doing it once.
Are you doing the same countertops, cabinets, paint colors every time?
Mostly, yes.
Yeah, it makes it easier.
Yeah, it does make it easier.
'Cause
And then
there's
you
the-
have a consistent look too.
Right.
Right.
Good. What have you found that the best renovations are to increase rent, I guess?
Well, the kitchen,
Kitchen.
making sure the kitchen is neat and clean, and
Mhm.
you have, nice storage space. You're providing really nice appliances. They don't need to be top of the line,
Yeah.
but as long as they're clean and they're in good condition, that is attractive to a tenant. And the same thing goes for the bathroom.
Got it. What about converting to like central air, and say has window units? Does it just depend on the market?
We really haven't focused on it.
Okay.
I think we have one unit that we actually had the ductwork installed to put in central air.
Yeah.
But the other units, the tenants are fine putting window units for the air conditioning.
Mm-hmm.
We have upgraded from oil tanks to gas
Got it.
in like pretty much every property. So we did
What was
away
the
with,
reason for that?
because it was more cost effective
Mhm.
to pay for, because you can have the tenant pay for the gas and then you're not paying for the oil for the building
Mhm.
during the winter time.
Got it.
And so then we went through the appropriate channels with the township to get the permits to split the
Gas
heating.
meter.
Right.
Yeah, I guess if you think about it, the lower their utility bill is potentially the more rent they can pay.
Right. The more rent they can pay, and also as a landlord, the less expense you have on a building because you can't control the heat for somebody. I mean,
Right.
the better profit you have at the end.
Yeah, got it. Do you guys think you'll stay in the Hamilton, Trenton area with your rental properties? Or are you looking in other markets?
We have explored other markets, but we know the Trenton, Hamilton
Yeah.
area so well.
Yeah.
And it's so easy for us because we know the rules.
Yeah.
And so we've been, talking about, well, what if we go to Tennessee, or what if we go to Texas
Right.
or Arizona? And then we always come back to, now we want to buy even more properties in New Jersey.
Yeah,
Because we know the market well. It is expensive to do business in New Jersey, I have to say.
sure.
The insurance continues to go up, and taxes and
Mhm.
things like that. But once you know the rules for landlord tenants, it just makes it that much easier to do business, and then you know how to navigate so that you're not losing money.
Are you listing those? Are you doing rental listings?
No, my husband does.
He's just
his,
doing on Zillow, like Zillow Rentals Manager, or
He doesn't even do that. He just puts a
Really?
sign up or puts a sign up on the window, and we just get 100 phone calls.
really? There's that
Yeah.
much demand? in
Yeah,
the
there's a
area?
lot of demand.
Wow.
Yes,
And then
it's been a really good market for us.
good.
Yeah.
And then you guys are doing like background checks, or what service are you using for that?
We're not necessarily doing every single tenant with background
Yeah.
checks because of the location where we are. You're
Mhm.
not going to get the most ideal
Mhm.
candidate, which is why the units mostly we upgrade them really nicely, and then
Right.
we do charge a premium for the rent
Okay.
to account. But we really don't have any problems with the tenants.
For people that are getting into this, what matters more, income or credit? Or is it a combination?
I think it's a combination. I think you need to understand and having the conversation with the tenant, understanding their situation, why they're moving, and what their need
Hmm.
is a big help too. And understanding their income, getting proof of their income is also important because a lot of times their credit is not going to be perfect.
Right. Yeah. And, credit history doesn't tell the whole story a lot
No,
of
it
times.
doesn't.
People can make, have one retail card they forgot about, from Macy's or
Right.
something. And that next thing you know, your credit score is 400.
Right. So we're kind to our tenants in that respect.
That's
It's more
cool.
about, what's the income that's coming in, how many adults are working, what's the total income
Right.
for the household. And I'll tell you, we've been really lucky that a lot of our tenants pay us before the first.
Oh,
And they're
nice.
calling us already, like the 29th to 30th, that they're ready, they have the rent ready. So they're pretty hardworking people. And this is why it's important for us to provide them with really nice, comfortable housing.
Cool. I don't know if you would know this, but are you using any kind of software to manage the tenants and the maintenance requests, like Door Loop or anything?
No, my husband is using QuickBooks,
Okay.
and that's what his go-to software is.
Check that out when
I will
you talk to him.
definitely. Thank you for
Door
mentioning
Loop's
that.
really cool because you can do e-sign the documents through there, keep track of all the leases.
Okay.
But what other nice part is the maintenance requests can all go through the portal.
Oh, I love
So
that.
instead of texting or calling you,
Right.
they just do a message on the portal. Then you look at it, you know exactly what house it is
Right.
and who to connect them to, and blah blah blah.
No, that's pretty
Yeah, it's like a
efficient.
CRM for
Right. No,
real
I
estate
love that
investing.
because
Yeah,
we're looking to improve our
and payments,
processes.
of course.
Yeah. And
Payments,
most of our payments are coming in electronically
right?
and tracked, which is easier to pass along to the accountant
Gotcha.
annually and just track, the P&L for each building.
Yeah, awesome. If you could go back, it's a while ago, but if you go back to your 18-year-old self and give them any kind of advice, what would you tell your 18-year-old self?
My 18-year-old self, I would tell my 18-year-old self to focus on mindset
Okay,
and not be so focused on being so competitive against
gotcha.
everybody else because I think that was a misconception that I had at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't understand what I was doing, but I knew that I needed to compete with everybody else and try to be the
Mm-hmm.
best. And really just taking a step back and looking to see where your strengths are,
Yeah,
where your weaknesses are, and where you can grow. And as an 18-year-old, if you can
yeah,
work on that, I mean,
yeah.
you have a big head start.
Yeah. What was your first job out of high school?
Well, I worked throughout high school, and my first job was at a law firm.
Well, let's say what was your first job ever?
My first job ever was at the American Horse Show Association.
What? You were a horse jockey?
I was doing like data entry, and it was the Horse Association that for all the horse shows across the United States, they're the ones tracking and giving
No
the
way.
awards. And there were a lot of famous people involved with that. So as like a 16-year-old, that was really cool.
Wow, where was that? Was that in New Jersey?
It was in Manhattan. So I grew up in Manhattan, and I was born and
Okay.
raised in the city.
Oh,
And
nice.
so this was right in on 42nd Street in Midtown.
Did you ever go to horse races or anything?
I knew nothing about horses.
Oh my
Just
god.
knew about the organization, and I would put together all their brochures and all the awards for everybody
Nice.
at the headquarters office, and then it was distributed out to all those different shows.
What'd you do after that? What was after high school? First job, or did you go to college?
Yes, I went to St. John's University in New York City in Queens,
Cool.
and I started to study paralegal,
Hmm.
and then I shifted over to business
Okay.
from there.
So you got a business degree?
Yes,
Nice. And what was your first job out of college?
at Merrill Lynch.
Oh, got
So
into financial services?
I immediately, so I was really lucky, or at least I was told I was very lucky at that time.
Yeah.
That
So
Merrill
that's a
Lynch.
sales job, right?
No, I actually was in the back office.
Oh.
And when I came into Merrill Lynch, I was pretty lucky, I would say. I went right into an accounting role working on their futures business. So
Oh.
futures, instead of a stock, you have the future
Hmm.
commodities, the futures products. So I learned that market really well.
Was that on Wall Street?
Yes, it
Wow.
was. And I worked on the trading floor for quite a time.
No way.
And I was doing a lot of reporting. My job was to do reporting on the debt and equity markets for all of Latin America.
Oh,
So
wow.
I was working with traders from Mexico, from Brazil, and it was a really fun time for a very young person to
Because
learn
you're
all of
fluent in
this.
Spanish, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. So that was really cool. And at Merrill Lynch, I had a bunch of different roles. So I was at one point doing the global financial reporting for the futures business
Yeah.
for the company. I did the analysis for the Latin American markets for bond and equities,
Wow.
and and then I was also in technology management. So we were looking at, what the firm was invested in, what projects they were doing to increase, and I did all the budgeting and forecasting for all of that.
Cool. That's a
So
great experience.
it was amazing, and I worked with really incredible people, and I feel that that discipline and that experience is helping me now in my business,
Yeah.
as an entrepreneur, and then working with my clients and helping them understand the market and different ways to look at it so that they're, have feel very confident in their decisions.
Did you receive any advice, during that time there that kind of changed your life? Or I guess what's the best advice you ever received?
The best advice was to always have a mentor. And so at Merrill Lynch at a very young age,
Yeah.
I had the most amazing mentors.
Right.
And so that helped me because during my career at Merrill Lynch, I mean, I was getting so many promotions constantly. I was very grateful for that.
Hmm.
I when I left the company, I had a beautiful income, which I missed for a
Yeah.
long time while I was building my
Yeah.
business. But I always had mentors around me and different types of mentors to learn from, gain insight from, and then share. This is what I'm doing. This is how I want to grow,
Right.
and then to just receive that insight from somebody was just instrumental, both
Being,
personally and
yeah,
professionally.
being in the right room,
Yes.
with the right people that are doing what you want to do is so important. Like
Yes.
I feel like, you know, growing up, I never knew that. Never knew that you can go to like masterminds or
Right.
go to a conference for a weekend. There's whatever you're doing, there's probably a conference for it, or there's people doing it at a high level,
I agree.
and making money for it. So, like, even the younger generation, like, figure out your passion and then go get in the room of
Yes.
people that are making money doing that. And it'll accelerate your growth
It
so
will
fast.
accelerate, right. And it'll also give you confidence too.
Yeah.
It's a good confidence builder so that it's a checkpoint for you. What am I doing? And what can I do better? And which direction do I want to go?
And don't worry about the money when you're
Right.
young.
Right.
Get the experience. It's a learning season, right? Not earning season.
Right.
I think I stole that from Alex Hermosi.
I love
But,
that.
you know, you have time when you're young and energy, and,
Yes.
usually low overhead, and you can live with friends. So, like, just double down on your passion and get in the right room.
Yeah, and have an open mind to
Absolutely.
accepting information from others.
Yeah. It's
That is
okay
so
not to know everything,
right. Exactly.
you know?
And sometimes like younger people think that they have to know everything. Um,
And, I also realized, like, looking back when I graduated college, I was like, okay, I'm done learning now.
right.
Because school teaches you only learn when you're in school.
right.
But a lot of the learning actually happens from doing the thing
Right.
and getting the experience and getting around the right people, right? You're never done learning.
You're
You
never done learning. That is so true. And I learned so much from my previous managers. I
Yeah.
mean, when I started at Merrill Lynch, I was like 19 years old.
Hmm.
And I was very young to be in such a, high powered corporate environment with these amazing people and learning from my managers, understanding how to analyze things, how to review things.
Yeah.
It's still instilled in me until today.
Yeah.
So
You
that's
take
why
that with you.
I love looking at properties. I love looking
Yeah.
at markets and just studying them and just
Yeah.
learning the ins and outs of them. So then I can then repeat this to clients or even my husband. I
Yeah.
point out, I'm like, go check this property out and don't come home until you do because we're going
Yeah.
to talk about it. And sometimes, and as experienced as he is, he
Right.
relies on me to help him
Yeah.
with the information on the property, on the market, on the location. Is this a good investment or not, and
Yeah.
why? and then we just break it down, and I love it.
It's so important to focus on a market like that when you're starting out, because if you're a real estate investor and you just look at different towns every weekend and different buildings, like you're never going to get a handle on.
No, you're not,
You
and
got to
it's
get in the
hard, right?
bloodstream of the market,
Right.
and build a successful business in one market first. Then maybe you could expand later. But I like what you guys are doing there.
Thank you.
So what keeps you going in real estate? This is maybe the hardest business to be in right now.
It really is.
It's so crazy how hard this is right now.
Sometimes I ask myself, what am I
Yeah.
doing? Because it takes longer now to help clients. Clients have a lot of uncertainty, a lot
Yep.
of concerns. And for example, I just spent 2 days with clients coming in from out of town. And not only are they from out of town, but they've never bought a house in the United States.
Wow.
So they needed to understand that
So
process.
imagine how scary that is.
It
Like
was
if
scary.
you went in another
Right.
country, like put
Exactly.
yourself in their shoes,
Yeah.
right?
So literally, like I just left them a little while ago, and they were going back to their hotel to sleep because
Right.
it was so exhausted
Yeah.
mentally. But it's important to be a good listener, to
Mhm.
understand them. I forgot your question.
What keeps you going?
Oh, what keeps me
Because this
going?
job is so hard.
It is hard, but you know what? Just being positive and
Yeah.
knowing why I'm doing this. So I'm doing this because I want to show myself that I can accomplish what I set out for as an entrepreneur and as a person.
Yeah.
And I'm also teaching my daughter that
Mm.
she can come out into the world as she gets older and accomplish her dreams
Yeah.
too.
That's great.
And I know that I have the skill set and the ability to manage my business, to
Mhm.
have my business grow even in a challenging market.
Yeah.
So that mindset, and I'm excited. I love real estate
Yeah.
in every shape and form. It could be stressful.
You have to
but
love real estate.
yeah, I love it, and I
to
love
do
helping
this.
clients,
Yeah.
helping them solve the reason why they're looking is incredibly rewarding for me.
What do people often misunderstand about the real estate market or the real estate business? I guess you could look at it from what do they misunderstand about real estate agents, and then also misunderstand about just like the real estate process.
Well, a lot of clients, from my experience, even this afternoon, when they left me, they said, I just thank you because you're a trusted partner of ours.
Mm.
We thought when we were meeting you, we were going to have a completely different experience, and we thought we were going to just be sold.
Yeah.
And it was all about the highest price
Mhm.
and just really trying to push us to buy a house, she says. And we were so surprised that our experience was so different
Yeah.
from that. And you listened to us, you listened to what was
Mhm.
important for us, and you explained the process in detail. And I feel really happy and thankful for you. So that's a misconception some clients have, or buyers, or even sellers,
They're just going to
is
get
that
sold like a
they're
car
just
lot.
going to be sold, right?
Yeah.
And the person behind that doesn't care about their needs.
Mhm.
And it's all about trying to, get the best for that person,
Yeah.
not the client.
Got it. Yeah, I think there's definitely that misconception out there that all realtors are just there to sell you, sell you, sell you. But if that was the case, you wouldn't be in the business very long.
Right, you wouldn't. And that's what I was explaining to
Because
them
people
as well.
don't,
Right.
spend hundreds of thousands of dollars with someone they don't trust.
Right.
And, finding the person's overarching goal, why they're buying or selling in the first place, is kind of really important and something that we're working on, in the Real Estate Academy that we're
Yes.
in. Shout out to Vic and Cody.
Yes.
You can Venmo me $10 for that.
And me too.
Yeah, and Janet. You can Venmo Janet. Like, at the end of the day, we're there to help people
Right.
go through transition, one of the most complex transactions and most expensive they'll ever do.
Yeah.
I think the worst mistake a buyer or seller can make is to think that this is easy. I
Right.
think that
And
this is simple, because there's so many variables in a real estate transaction. There's other attorneys, there's other lenders, other vendors.
right.
There's the ego and personality, the other agent, the other, buyer. It's like you need people like us to keep
Right.
the things on track. Otherwise, this just goes crazy.
Right, it does. And it's important to have people like us involved helping the clients, because we also have preferred partners
Yeah.
that we work with that we know are professional, that we know are
Mhm.
reliable. that we know are honest, and they're going to work to serve the best interest of the client.
Yeah,
And
totally.
that is essential for the success of that buyer or
Hmm.
seller accomplishing their goal.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, imagine like we only sold one house a year. We wouldn't really know who the best vendors are.
Right.
Or one house every 20, 30 years, which is like what most buyers and sellers are doing. They have a couple houses in their lifetime, but we're doing 20, 30 transactions a year.
Right.
And we're always updating our vendor list. Like
Yes.
the person who I started with as my mortgage broker may not be my mortgage broker today, because he didn't
Correct.
change with the times or
Right.
doesn't have the best products that today's buyers need. So we're constantly updating our list, and if you mess up, you're off the list. You get one strike. One
That's
strike.
true. That's true.
So I guess let's switch gears to real estate agents. What advice would you give to a brand new agent? What advice would you give yourself right now if you go back in time?
So if I go back in time, I didn't have any training, and
Right.
I didn't, even though it was a transition coming from the corporate world into real estate. I didn't
Hmm.
really have the right mentors in real estate, and I didn't understand how to navigate that at that time
Right.
because the office that I was working in was very competitive.
Hmm.
And so even though there were other agents around me, they weren't necessarily my colleagues.
They were trying to help.
Right. And they were not helpful. And when I
Right.
had questions on commercial transaction, on specific complicated questions regarding a real estate deal, I didn't really have the support that I needed.
Goes back to the mentor.
Yeah, it goes back to that.
Yeah.
So I would say number one is to understand the office, what brokerage
Hmm.
you're with. Does that brokerage values align with yours?
Yeah.
Are those agents also going to be available, even if you pay them for training?
Right.
Are they going to be available to you
Hmm.
as a mentor, as a coach?
Right.
And also going through a proper training program is so
Hmm.
helpful because you're going to understand the psychology of how to work with a client
Right.
to help them, to help the client help themselves also, because sometimes the clients don't even know what they're looking for and they're not sure how to express it.
Yeah.
And then by you going and probing and
Hmm.
discussing their overarching goal, and understanding, what's important to them and why they're even considering real estate,
Right.
is going to help you out to
Yeah.
be a better listener, to help you out in your business,
Hmm.
and always training and understanding how to, put together that really strong offer strategy for your clients. That's a benefit for them, and you're offering that.
Yeah.
So if you're not trained and you don't have the skill set, how good are you?
Definitely a mistake I made when I was a brand new agent. I put all my time, energy, and money into marketing
Mm-hmm.
before skills.
Me too.
You
Right.
know, because I
Yes.
was like, if people just knew about me, then I'd get deals.
Right.
The problem is they don't know about me.
Right.
but but what's the point of them knowing you if you can't help them?
Right.
So definitely skills first, mentors, get proximity.
Right.
Like if you just get your license now, you're better off interviewing mentors than brokerages.
Right.
The brokerage doesn't necessarily matter. I
Right.
mean, it's cool, whatever, to have a good split and all that. But if you're not selling houses, the split doesn't matter.
Right. And I'll tell you something, Jan Michael. I've been in real estate. I mean, I've had my license for many years. This is the
Hmm.
first time in my career in real estate that I have such a wonderful, supportive community,
Yeah.
within our academy,
Yeah.
because everybody is wanting to grow.
Yep.
Everybody wants to build their business. Everyone is very serious, and
Hmm.
everyone's very supportive of each other. And to be able to discuss the challenges that we're
Right.
experiencing with a client, a challenge regarding, putting together an offer, helping the client come up with the best strategy. So we're mentoring each other in
Yeah.
our community. And that is something that is so precious and beautiful, and it's hard to come by in this
Yeah.
industry because
sure.
it is so competitive. Everybody's trying to outsell,
Right.
themselves, or keep what they're doing a secret because it's a competitive advantage in
Hmm.
some way. But our community doesn't do that, and we're just open, and we're just
Hmm.
listening and there to be empathetic and help each other.
The cool thing about the Real Estate Sales Academy is that it's worldwide. Like we have agents
Right.
in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Our coaches are in South America,
Right.
but I think they're from North
Hawaii.
America
Right.
at some point. But there's agents all over the country, so you get different flavors and different perspectives.
That is so important because you also understand a little bit about the markets in the other areas.
Yeah.
and how different that is from our market.
Yeah.
And vice versa. They learn about our market too. And there's an advantage to that, to have that understanding.
Florida is totally different than New Jersey.
Right.
They're right now they're going through a period where it's a really strong buyer's market, but their buyers aren't necessarily there.
Right.
So they're seeing like 6 to 8 months,
Of
of inventory, whereas New Jersey's still a seller's market in most cases, even though it's slowed down. Maybe there's
Right.
2 months of inventory instead of
there's some
30 days.
softening, right.
So it's really important, like as a first-time home buyer, to not read national headlines and assume you know the market.
Yeah, reading the headlines is such a misconception because it's just intended to create fear.
Yeah, and
Then,
clicks.
right. So, and then you're not getting anywhere because you're not understanding that local area that you could possibly,
Yeah.
buy or sell in.
I would say though, right now it's June 2025. Although prices and interest rates are kind of high, there's a lot of uncertainty. A lot of times that's the best time to buy.
Agreed.
Because what are you going to do? Like, you're going to wait till interest rates are low and everything's perfect? That means 90% of the buyers are going to come back.
Right.
People forget, like in 2022, there's 15 to 25 offers sometimes on these houses.
Right.
It
Yes.
was crazy.
Yes.
It doesn't even matter if you're qualified. Like,
Right.
you have to be lucky at that point. You have to like win the lottery on these houses.
Right.
And now it's like 2, 3 offers competing. That's a lot better. Because right now it's really just getting your arms around the asset
Right.
and refi in the future.
That's what the advice that I give my clients is, like, we just want to get in the door.
Yeah.
And this is the way to structure and put a strategy together on your offer
And
to help you.
And don't
do
be,
that.
opposed or afraid to like having a stepping stone type
Mhm.
house where it's like, all right, we're not going to be here forever. Sometimes I meet with first-time home buyers and they're just trying to go right for their dream house,
Right.
but it's just slightly out of reach. Whereas if you just started a little smaller, even if it's a townhouse or condo,
Right.
you could build the equity and the appreciation and, then use that
And refinance.
investments or even go to a bigger house.
Right. So right now I'm working with clients, and the investor in me comes out
Yeah.
depending on who the client is. So I have a client that was thinking about renting, and we get to his overarching goal and what's happening with him.
Mhm.
And then I said, well, why are you going to spend all this money on renting when you can purchase a condo?
Right.
And so with my preferred lender, we worked, we helped him work out some numbers. And we're in under attorney review now on a condominium where he's going to be saving like $600 a month from
Wow.
the type of rental that he would want, compared to the condo.
It's a great way to start.
Right. And I said, you're starting out, you can do this and later you can rent it,
Yep.
or you can sell it, or you can refinance it and move into something,
Right.
bigger or better.
Because you think about rent, it's 100% interest.
Right. It is. And you're paying someone else's mortgage
Yeah.
instead of yours and building equity. So,
And if you're making 6 figures, you kind of need the tax write-offs,
Right.
of the interest and the property taxes, because if you don't factor that in, you could be leaving a lot of money on the table at the end of the year.
yeah, I agree with you.
So what's next for Janet Lorraine?
So what's next is my husband and I are looking to invest in a bigger unit. So our
Like an
dream,
apartment building.
yes, our dream is to, and it's a big dream, but it's okay, is to go into 100 unit plus.
Ooh.
So that's the next step for Janet and Craig.
Okay.
And
Any 100 unit plus
so
apartment
anybody just reach out
owners?
because we're game.
Yeah.
And so we're looking to kind of restructure ourselves and go in that direction.
You
So-
could definitely afford a full-time property manager for
So,
that.
yes, and so that idea is to have everything in one property, or at least to keep our properties and then invest in
Yeah.
that, because we just love the business so
Yeah,
much,
cool.
and it's been very good to us. So that would be the next thing, and then also take some time off and go
One
on
day have
vacation.
time off.
Yes,
Well, they say going on vacation is the best way to bring in business.
right.
Only real estate agents would get this joke, but as soon as we get on the airplane, our phone starts ringing.
Yes,
People wanting to write offers, see houses.
Yes,
Every time. It's so crazy.
it never fails.
Yeah.
That's true.
All right, Janet. Thanks for coming on the show, guys.
Thank
That
you
does
for
it for
having
us
me.
on the Garden State Growth Show. Today was Janet Lorraine. Check us out. And
Thank
don't
you.
forget to follow and like for more episodes coming up soon. Thanks.